Hello, everyone. Again, Jordan Parr here, talking crops with Henry Farmers Co-op. Jumping back on with Caleb and Camille, and it's kind of funny. We do these videos and we think about, okay, what are we going to talk about? And then as we sit here and we literally just talk, and it says, hey, this is good stuff. We should put another video out. So right now we're kind of coming into what we think about some, and we're on the verge of it, I guess you'd say, but insecticide pressure, especially in some soybeans, and what we can look at and what we can be checking as we move into the year.
Yeah, so this is something I did a deep dive over the winter, just thinking about the stink bugs that are in my parents' house on the farm. I mean, they're everywhere.
And it's not slugs. Now we're talking stink bugs.
Yeah.
So, sorry, but it is facts that we're seeing.
It's facts. And the stink bugs are becoming, I think, one of the biggest problems in our soybean fields. Stink bugs will actually pierce. They have a piercing, sucking mouth part. So they'll pierce into the pod, suck weight out of the pod, and you don't even know you're losing yield a lot of the time. So it's becoming a growing problem for us, and I don't think it's going to get any better. So I sat down over the winter and just pulled some data, and this is what I found. So the University of Kentucky entomologist, they've got a team of grad students that they send around to sample fields. And so they went out in 2020 and they sampled a bunch of fields. And I thought this was really interesting. So the colonization of Western Kentucky of brown marmorated stink bugs. So they will overwinter, which makes them very unique compared to what we've fought in the past. So when they did their sampling in 2020, they found that 65% were just green stink bugs. Those are decently easy to kill. 17% were brown stink bugs. Again, not too bad, but 13.9% brown marmorated stink bugs. So that was 2020. Fast forward a year, 2021, they went out again. 53% green. Now it's only 12.5% brown and 34% brown marmorated. So it more than doubled in one year. Yep. Okay, so that's 2021. In 2022, there wasn't a report. But in 2023, I was reading through the article, and it stuck out to me. They said that they overwinter in homes and other buildings as well as wooded areas, and they're going to become active again in the spring.
Yep.
So that's where we're seeing this pressure.
Yes.
It's not going to go anywhere. So when do you spray? The perfect time is that fungicide pass.
That's
so
right.
You're already going across the field.
Yep.
You can make that application. We do like to recommend that you get out and see if you've got the pressure. So 9 stink bugs per 100 sweeps is what you're looking for. And almost every field I walk in, I don't know if you guys have been out there looking, but I'm finding them.
Oh, stink bugs, you name it. I mean, there's a whole slew. I actually saw Dectee stem borer the other day. We've seen green clover worms. We will soon see. Obviously, Japanese beetles have been around.
Been seeing those.
Three-cornered alfalfa hoppers.
Yeah.
Stopped
Soybean loopers can sometimes come up here.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I stopped at the field the other day, got out of the truck, walked out, looked, got back in, and when I got back in, on me were 2 three-cornered alfalfa hoppers. I was like,
without doing
really?
any sweeps.
On me?
Yep.
Yeah, just walking through the field. I'm like, well, this is fun.
I know.
So.
Well, and we've gotten used to, we've almost been, as farmers, a little bit brainwashed. We've been able to use some cheap insecticide. We throw it in. We think we're doing a fine job, but it's not getting the job done anymore. So we've got to make sure we're covering our bases, because if you've got stink bugs hitting your combine windshield, you probably lost yield.
Yeah. So you just touched about knocked down. The different kind of insecticides, you have your cheap lambdicides, and then you might have a bifenthrin or something, but and that's what we look at is, we want to give value. So hey, you can probably buy a cheap 2-pound lambda for $1.50 an acre, but is that going to do you as good of a job as if you spent an extra $3 or $4 more to really extended the life of that insecticide?
Sure. And all insecticides have their place, right? Sure. We're not saying any product's bad, but when it comes to stink bugs, I want to make sure I'm protecting all my bushels, especially if we've got $11 to $12 soybeans.
That's right.
So
if we go from, like you're saying, piercing a pod from a 3-bean to a 2-bean, I mean, there's been statistics out there of up to 6 bushel. I mean, I think we can pay for that more of a premium insecticide to really hone in and get these stink bugs that we're seeing. So.
Yeah, and like you said, you can get some of these active ingredients generic, but I really like to make sure, especially going into these soybean fields that do potentially have 80 to 100 bushel potential, we're protecting those pods. And so when you're pairing one active ingredient with another to, like you said, give you a fast knockdown and then give you that length of residual, you are going to have more bushels at harvest time.
Sure.
So this is some data that I pulled from University of Tennessee. I always ask why. Why are we using products? So they actually have performance ratings, and I was kind of dialing in on this a little bit just to see, why is one active ingredient better than another on stink bugs? So bifenthrin has really good ratings on both green and brown stink bugs. If you look at Lambda, it's a great product, but it is a little bit weaker on stink bugs. So I like to look at that. And then with Hero, it's a 2 mode of action product. So zeta-cypermethrin is the other mode of action. It gives you a fast knockdown. What it's doing, it's causing those insects to get excited, and they actually just kind of die of excitement. So it causes them to get their heart rate up, everything's going, and they die. And then bifenthrin does give you that length of residual, so it doesn't degrade as quickly as some of the other pyrethroids. Yeah. So it's a really good product.
Because it's not ever hot and dry in July and August when we'll be spraying these products, right?
Never. Yeah. So this is a thin layer photolysis study. Again, hot and dry. I want a product to last as long as possible so that I don't have more stink bugs in 2 weeks. So it's just really interesting. I did that deep study over the winter, and I learned quite a bit myself.
Yeah. Yeah, we knew. I've had growers before literally had to spray the same fields multiple times. Knew it's a problem, but it's just one of those things where I hear farmers say, "Man, I'm tired of spraying." Like I'm tired of spraying. It's like, well, okay, but you could, for not very much money, you could protect that quarter or half a bushell that you got out there. So
yeah.
it's,
and you guys have both heard it. The most expensive spray is a respray. Mm-hmm. I mean, just because you're using a branded product, and if you had to go back and respray and the product's free, it's still expensive because you probably lost some yield already.
Yeah, lost yield, cost you time, you fuel. So it's a lot into it. Camille, thank you again for stopping by.
Yep.
Sure.
We do appreciate it. Thanks again for checking in with Talking Crops with HFC.